I'm going to be a doctor for today, and I see that you've just woken up, so I'm going to ask you a few questions just to see where your brain's at. So, could you start by giving me your name?
I'm Billy.
What gender do you identify with?
I'm female.
Your relationship status?
Forever single.
That's sad. And what is your current occupation?
I'm a bass player in a rock band.
Well, that's interesting, and that tells me a little bit about what might have happened. But first, let me start with your past medical history. Do you have any medications that you're currently taking or used to take?
So I'm on Vigabatrin for epilepsy, and I've just started taking it 2 weeks ago.
Okay. What were you taking before that?
Oh, I can't remember what that was.
Does it sound like clonazepam?
Yeah, I was on that since I was really young.
Yeah, I'm good at this. So maybe you can tell me, have you ever been diagnosed with any mental health issues?
No, I've not been diagnosed with anything, but I've got a few crazy uncles. There's definitely a family history of mental health.
Okay.
They like to drink a lot too.
Yeah, that's starting to make more and more sense. So let's see what you remember about last night. Tell me about what happened to you, starting from the first day. So just to begin, you usually do take your Vigabatrin daily twice, is that right? Twice daily?
Yeah, so I woke up at 12 because I was quite hungover from the night before, and I took my medication, and then the band picked me up, and I was setting up the stage, and I dropped my bass on my toe.
Right, so you were in
that
pain.
Was sore. So my friend gave me some Valium to ease the pain.
Okay.
And then the day continued, and I was quite nervous before the gig, so did my usual. Had quite a few drinks before we went on, and last I remember was going on stage.
Alright, so that's pretty detailed, which is good to know. So what do you know about drug interactions?
Well, before my career as a rock star kicked off, I used to study pharmacology, so I actually do know a good bit.
Okay, so maybe I can speak to you about pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. Well, since you know all about pharmacology, Billy, how about let's talk about the pharmacokinetics of Vigabatrin. You know that it's water soluble, it's rapidly absorbed by your gastrointestinal tract, and its absorption is not affected by food. It's got a high volume of distribution, and its efficacy is more to do with the rate of enzyme resynthesis rather than the plasma concentration. It's got a terminal half-life of 5 to 8 hours, and that's why you will have it either a single dose or twice daily, because you only want it to be active when you're awake. And we know that it doesn't induce any hepatic cytochrome P45 enzymes, nor is it extensively metabolized or plasma protein bound, so it doesn't have much drug interactions. Talk about the pharmacodynamics of Vigabatrin. So it's an inhibitor of the enzyme GABA transminase, also known as GABA-T. So Vigabatrin works by decreasing the amount of GABA-T, which would lead to an increase in levels of GABA. Although sites like memes do not state in their precautions, it's common sense to assume that drugs like Valium and alcohol, which modulate GABA to result in the postsynaptic cell to be less excitable, i.e. it's harder to generate an action potential, would have this superimposing GABAergic inhibition, resulting in your loss of consciousness and your central respiratory system to shut down. So I know that you do like to drink and take your anti-epileptic medication. It just so happened that in that one instance, the also additive effect of Valium caused you to lose your consciousness. So just from now on, maybe drink less and avoid taking any prescriptions that you don't know exactly what they do. Let's look at the positives. For one thing, you're alive, you're awake, and I think you'll be okay to be let out of the hospital soon. But the negative outcomes, or the possible negative outcomes, is that you do pass out again, and that you do stop breathing for long enough that you lose oxygen, and of course that could lead to permanent brain damage or even death. So from now on, you have to be careful. You have to be certain of the amount of alcohol that you're drinking, and also realize that it does interact with the medication that you're taking.